As we continue our court case, we move to an argument known as the Kalam argument. And this argument is one that deals with the existence of the universe and how its existence points to the need for a causal power of a personal first cause. Those are big words. To understand this argument, we need to work through three premises. And a premise is a statement that is found to be true. Once we find these three statements are true, they point us to a conclusion that brings us one step closer to our assurance that the God of the Bible really is the creator of the universe. So let's get started. The first premise is that the universe had a beginning. Most anyone would say, yes, this is true. We could not get to where we are today without there being a starting point. Even evolution teaches about how this beginning possibly came to be. They do not argue that the universe did not have a beginning and was always here. They just argue about how the beginning happened. Evolution says it just spontaneously came to be through the Big Bang. Creation says God created it, speaking it into existence. This still seems to me that would be a Big Bang. At the moment when God said, let there be light, there was probably a Big Bang. But anyway, we will agree here. So we both, evolution and creationists, will say, yes, we agree on that first premise. The second premise is the beginning of the universe had to be caused. Something had to cause the Big Bang. Things don't explode without energy somehow coming into something that has substance to it, or energy coming out of the substance. Matter can explode, but nothing cannot explode because nothing has no properties. There's no properties to nothing. I can't say that nothing heated up and exploded because nothing doesn't have the property of being able to heat up. Matter does. So where did that matter come from? The fact that we have matter cries out that something acted upon something to bring about the beginning of that something. That's a lot of somethings. In the theory of the Big Bang, that something acted upon the matter present in the cosmos was lightning. But again, we must ask the question, but where did that matter come from? And then, what caused the lightning? Most evolutionists will agree that there was lightning that somehow entered the equation and brought about the beginning of the universe. So they would agree to this premise. Yes, there had to be a cause of some sort. And I love it when scientists do the experiment in the science lab because they are the ones that are adding in the lightning to watch things occur in their test tube. The third premise is the cause for the beginning was personal. Now here is where evolution says no, it doesn't have to be personal. Not all causes are personal. So let's take some time to discuss this premise. But for now, let's say we can agree that this premise is true, just for the sake of getting through to the point where we can discuss it further. If it's true, then we come to our conclusion of the Kalam argument. And basically that is our second argument proving that there is a God, and he is the God of the Bible. The part about him being the God of the Bible will be our third part of our argument and our third devotional on this topic. So in conclusion to this point, we have three premises being true. We have the universe came to exist a finite time ago by the causal agency of a personal first cause. So what about that third premise though, when I said evolutionists say no, it doesn't have to be? It's pretty important because if we can't agree here, we can't go on to the next argument. Well, there are two types of causes. Let's talk about those two different types of causes. There's a state-state causation and an agent causation. Let's go through each of these and ask which one is the type of causation we see at the beginning of the universe. State-state causation is when one state of affairs acts upon another state of affairs. An example of this would be, well, one ball hitting another ball, or an acorn that rolls down the hill. This type of causation requires that something outside of the item causes that item to do something. But this type of causation is totally random, unpredictable, and even accidental in nature. So actually my dominoes aren't as good of an example because I did make the decision. I was the free agent that actually caused the first one to fall. Whereas the acorn rolling down the hill, gravity acted upon it. That's state-state causation. A ball hitting another ball, state-state causation. There's nobody involved in the decision, it just randomly happened. It's unpredictable, it's an accident of nature. Could this type of causation bring about all of creation? We've discussed at length how much order and precision that creation calls for. Life itself is so very complex, filled with information that is so detailed that man is still trying to figure it out. As we study genetics, we'll just barely begin to grasp the immense amount of information packed into every single unit of life, the cell. This type of accidental, unguided, and random causation could never bring about this complexity. And even if it could, how did it get started? What started it? Something had to exist that pushed that first domino, like said before, or hit the first ball, so to say. And what could cause it to do this? This brings us to the other type of causation, agent causation. In agent causation, a free agent simply chooses to act. There's no state that forces him to do so, like as in the acorn falling from the tree. Gravity caused that acorn to fall from the tree. But in agent causation, a free agent is not forced to do something. He chooses to act. Here's an example. Right now I'm thinking about doing something. I'm thinking very seriously about it, and I'm making a decision to do that action. In fact, I am going to do that action. I have made up my mind. I have made a decision to act. Did you see me? I chose to raise my hand. That was a free choice. Nobody made me do it. There's nothing in nature that accidentally caused me to raise my hand. I made the conscious decision to do so. First, I thought about raising my hand. Then I made the decision that I was going to raise my hand, and then I acted upon it. This ability to be a free agent has to be a personal being, something with a mind capable of thinking, coming up with the idea, and choosing and acting upon this choice. This is the major problem with evolution getting started and continuing from primordial soup to human being. How could matter, primordial soup, come to produce the first event if there was nothing to bring about a change within it? Even the matter of getting ready to bring about that first event is an event in itself, which requires a cause. Nothing cannot be the causal power, as nothing has no properties. Nothing can think, oh, I'm going to create life, and then bring about life. Or, oh, I'm going to create the first protein. Or for that matter, I'm going to create the first RNA that's going to code for the first protein. So we see that there had to be a free agent that chose to create and who had the power to create. And the conclusion of the Kalam argument is that there is a personal being that conceived a creation and chose to create. And the Kalam argument concludes that God truly does exist. In the next devotional, we will discuss what this personal causal power God must be like. We will see that he must be a God of purpose, and this should intrigue us to ask the question, what is this creator's purpose in creating?